Hi everyone, my name is Russian Adam, and today we have truly wonderful, long-awaited session and a meeting with my beautiful friend Taha from Agar, and we
Hello,
will
everyone.
discuss our upcoming perfume and many other interesting topics. Hi Taha, how are you?
Hello. Good, good. And yourself?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. So it's been a very long time. We got to
Yeah,
sit together like this. It's a big pleasure.
that's right. Yes, yes, and likewise. Yeah. The last time you actually visited was just before the pandemic. I think it was like 1 or 2 months before the global lockdown started. I think it was January 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
actually, the project and the perfume collaboration started way before that, right? Do you remember?
That's right. It was in, I believe, 5 years ago, back in 2017.
Wow.
And I think many people don't know this. What Adam did was he said, Taha, I wanna show you some stuff, and I had no idea what it's going to be. We had been discussing like perfumes and so on in general, and first I did. Now he didn't tell me what is what, and he showed me some very famous perfumes. I remember. I'm not going to say any names, but there were a few in there from certain famous perfumers. He showed me those, and then he snuck in some of his own creations as well. Now, at this point, I didn't really know what the idea was, and at the end of the meeting, he shared that he's going to be releasing these particular ones. I don't know if you made further modifications to those or not, but I remember getting a massive headache from certain ones, and it turns out those were in fact from a certain very famous perfumer, in fact. And when you shared the price,
Big commercial
I was
brands,
just
yeah.
absolutely stunned. And then you shared some of these other perfumes, your own creations, and I was very fascinated. And it was at this time in 2017 where, in fact, we started discussing, about this joint, like a collaboration, basically.
Yeah. That was my first collection: Siberian Mask, Ottoman Empire, and Udzen. And I wasn't really like 100% confident at the time, so I shared my creations with many, experts in the field. And then finally, once I got approvals and very nice feedback, I launched my first collection.
Yeah. Around the same time, I think you also distilled an oud oil. Was it? If I'm not mistaken, it was either a Vietnamese or a Malinao distillation.
Yeah, Vietnamese.
Do you remember?
Vietnamese, I
huh?
think, yes.
Okay, yeah, and that was very fantastic as well. And so these were the two things we've been discussing. It was one of these distillations which turned out to be quite fantastic, and of course the perfumes as well. Yeah.
So then you came
So,
up with your line of perfumes, and I discovered
Yeah.
that they are quite different from what I personally do and from what I personally love, and I was very much, surprised, excited. So can you tell me more about your vision, your style when you're creating perfume compositions?
Yeah, so my general style, whether it's oud oils, distillation, I mean, so whether I'm distilling an oil or making a perfume, primarily I like to focus on one or two main ingredients, and everything else is kind of supplementary, so it's kind of working backstage. And so I think, of course, the Kinamatar was probably, arguably, the most popular, and it's essentially what I think you would call a, what's the word you used?
Accord.
It's like an accord, essentially, yeah. And likewise, I would give the examples of like blue and oud labani. And so this genre, or these flavors, essentially, they personify my style, which is a very minimalistic sort of thing. Yeah. And what I have noticed in your general style, of course, you also have many different genres and many different flavors within your perfumes as well. But the general texture of it, I think, I would say it's much more. It's more fleshy. It's more rounded out. I would say heavier compositions in general. So
Yeah.
I would say, would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Observation.
totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting, yeah, because you mentioned Kinam Atar, and it's definitely the favorite one from what I tried from you. So
Yeah.
this is like a very hard to achieve type of aroma when it comes to perfume
Yeah.
compositions, and it's done like almost to perfection. But you either gonna love it or hate it. There's not much like, you know, development going on. There's not much storytelling. It's just this very, you know, raw, very unique and precious smell of something that
a
is
singular
close
unit,
to Kinam.
basically.
Yeah, something that is very close to Kinam. And you really need to be quite advanced in your olfactory journey, in your oud journey, to understand and appreciate this type of perfume, this type of blending. So yeah, I personally loved it. And as you mentioned, my style is quite different. So I like it to be a bit more diverse, I don't know, within a composition. So I like to story to begin somewhere and then to end somewhere, perhaps where people not even expecting it to end. And I want it to be, you know, always moving, always, you know, developing, and always, you know, shifting here and there.
Let's say
Similar
it's a fuller
distillations
profile
that I conduct.
with quite a few different types of notes all coming together. Whereas something like, let's stick with this example of Kinamatar. Like Kinamatar, let's say within classical perfumery, it would not be considered a perfume. It would just be considered, how you put it, an accord, essentially.
But it's interesting because at the same time, if you use this accord, I guess within a composition, more full composition, it might lose some of its your nuances and beauty. So it's very interesting that you perfected this, you know, art of getting so close to the actual smell of different types of agarwood, so that you don't really want to disturb it with many different notes, like beginning of citruses and this and that. You just go straight to the point. Yeah, whereas for me it's more about a storytelling and starting in point A and then traveling, moving around, going here and there. And the same thing I usually love to do with my distillations as well, as you know. So our style in distillations is very different. So what's your style in distillation of oud oil?
Good question, yes. And I think the differences in our oud oils themselves, they would summarize the differences, let's say, in the perfume philosophy as well. And in fact, I would say it's part of the reason why it was a bit challenging to actually make this perfume as well, because there were in fact so many different trials. I think there were 4 different, no, this is not going to work, this one, okay, but what about this, what about that? And it was to make them really work together. It was a little bit of a challenge, but I think the end result worked out beautifully. But here is something, Adam, which I think you're not doing justice to yourself in terms of distillation. I know that you do prefer some of these crazy radical, like there was one called Oud KL Global, I think, or Global KL, something like this, right? And this, I would say, to me at least, and when people ask me, I told people, you know, you got to try this oud, and this is one of those very Russian Adam sort of oils, which, you know, is going to take you everywhere. It's going to take the scenic route, show you a ton of different notes and a ton of different flavors from the different oud species. And if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong here, but within the distillation itself, you had adopted quite a few little tricks just to really, you know, impregnate a lot of interesting elements into that scent profile. So you certainly do have that. And I would say this is, when I think of a Russian Adam oud distillation, primarily that's the kind of oil that comes to my mind. But, and this is a big but, you also have the likes of your Malinao, your Vietnamese, you have Chayapung, the Thai oil, you have, what was it, Kitsana or Kitsani?
Sunny, yeah, the first oil
You have
we
Canopy.
ever distilled.
Yes, and these, in fact, many people actually asked me. They said, "Hey Taha, have you smelled these oils? Did you cook this? Did you cook these oils with Adam?" I said, "No, I didn't." And they said, "They smell very much like yours." So what I'm trying to say is, you actually have done both styles, or I would say like quite a few different styles. There's like a traditional, very funky style. There is the minimalistic style, which I would say it's more what I lean towards. And then there is also that third one, which I'm saying is a third one, the KL Global style. To me, that's actually what I would call a very Russian Adam kind of distillation.
I see. Yeah. So
For me
we
personally,
talked
yes.
about it
Uh-huh.
earlier that me and you, we can wear different shoes. We can do different styles, but
Absolutely.
I have my own
Absolutely.
favorite, and you have your own. So what's your own favorite style of
Exactly.
distillation?
So my own favorite is certainly the very minimalistic style. In fact, I have not released these yet, but I have 3 sinking grade distillations: one Malaysian, one Burmese, and one Cambodian.
Yeah.
And I am sure that if you were going to distill from like literally 100% sinking wood, you would try to, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you would also try to not do too many, let's say, crazy permutations. You really want to capture what the wood itself has to offer. Am I correct in this assumption?
To a certain extent, it's all about how much you exposed to certain raw materials. If I get this chance once in a lifetime, maybe I will try to capture the true essence of the sinking grade wood. If I have,
Right.
tons and tons of sinking wood, then I will start to experiment. I will do once,
Fair enough.
the clean
Yeah.
type where I'm trying to capture the true essence, and then I
Right.
will try to do many other things, like I'm doing now with the cultivated quinam. I done first the clean
Right,
oil,
yes.
and then I done, the chips with a few twists, and now sinking
Yeah.
quinam is soaking in the fridge for over a month, I believe. So I'm implementing
Oh my
same
God.
techniques like for global KL oil.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. Now, for me personally, I should add, I've been doing this for about 13 years. And in this 13 years, it was literally the first time that I was able to do sinking grade distillations. It's wood which I think, at least in the perfume community, it might not hold a lot of meaning, but for those who are veterans within the oud industry, like within the oud world, they would really appreciate the scarcity of sinking grade wood. Like for myself, having done this for so long, for so many years, it's the first time that I was finally able to do these sinking grade distillations. So for me personally, and this is in answer to your question about my philosophy, these 3 sinking distillations, they personify, I would say, the essence of my personal olfactory ideals. I want it to be like this very, very minimalistic, pristine sort of, like essentially just capturing the essence of the wood with minimal tampering and so on. So for me, of course, like I said, that is the ideal. And it doesn't mean that I cannot or do not enjoy other genres. I do, in fact. You did a very fantastic job in actually making it smell like a very Taha creation. Like it's a very, very Agar style. Let's say this perfume is within perfumery what for example, your Vietnamese distillation, Royal Vietnam. So I remember there's this one guy in New York. I really told him to get a bottle, and when he got it, and he was like, "Hey, did you cook it? Did you have some role in this?" I said, "No. It's true that Adam came over and we discussed, and I said, well, I've worked with certain Vietnamese batches, and so I said, I think this will work nicely, and that will work nicely within the distillation parameters." But the end result and the point I'm trying to make is, it was really, it's like Adam was a distiller for Agar, or essentially trying to embody that kind of scent genre. And I think with this perfume as well, really, I think it's a very, very seamless blend. And at least to my nose, it's very much, I don't know, at least to me, it's a very much Agar sort of flavor, but it has that Adam touch to it at the same time. I hope that makes sense. What are your views on this?
Yeah, man, it's funny to hear that, because I feel it's so much Areej, and it has just a touch of.
Was that right? Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
But
Well, the composition
it's funny
itself, no
because
doubt,
maybe
is.
not many people know you, the one who taught me many of the foundations in distillation. So it's not surprising that I can not easily do your style, but I can distill oils that pretty much gonna smell similar to yours. Whereas
Right.
for perfume art, I got many different tips here and there, so it's quite different. But yeah, as I said, man, to me it smells like more Areej
More Areej?
with you somewhere there in the heart or in the base,
Yeah. Well, we're gonna let the people decide when they smell it. But certainly, what I can say is the two really, they connect very well, like really, really well. It's a very seamless blend of the two styles, let's say, the two houses. And this to me was very profound, because just as we stated in the beginning of the video, the very typical, or the very, let's say, the textbook definition of an Agar perfume versus a textbook definition of an ALD perfume. These are two very, very distinct genres, or scent flavors, if you can call it that. But I think with this perfume, it's a very harmonious blend.
Yeah. So before we go into the inspiration, details, idea, how this composition smells, just the last final I promise final question regarding the oud, distillation, and so on. So as you said, you in love with this raw, undiluted scent of the highest quality agarwood, as it is, right? In its pure form, the highest grade possible, to be transformed into oil.
Yeah.
Yes. So then my question, again, is just personal question, and I'm curious, if you're transforming this pure, natural, 100% almost identical scent of the highest quality grade agarwood into a form of oil, why wouldn't you simply enjoy smelling the raw material itself? Because agarwood can be heated, it can last for hours, and you can enjoy the session, you can inhale. And to be very honest with you, most of the time heating experience when you heat agarwood impacts me personally on much higher level. I get a lot of even physical pleasure from it, whereas oil is more to do of, I don't know, it's quite different. So why you not just heat the raw material and stick to the wood itself? Why you need to distill it?
Right. Very good question. In fact, the answer to that lies in the very end of what you said. For me, in fact, the oil hits me much harder, and part of it actually, it started when I started going for hunting trips to the Philippines. Up until that point, so this was let's say 2016. What I enjoyed the most, I would say, would be medium grade wood distillation. Overall, that was a sweet spot for me. But with these hunting distillations, with these hunting treks in the Philippines, in the jungles there, and having come back so many times empty-handed, it was quite a depressing experience. And what I found was that during this time, I actually started doing like literal aromatherapy with the oil. So I had this diffuser, which is it's not one of those ultrasonic type, like there's no water or anything. It's literally just air it's an air pump sort of vibrator. And I would actually go through something like 3 grams in a single week. You know, that's an insane amount of food. And I found immense therapeutic, let's say, calming down effects from this. And so it was in 2016 specifically, which is incidentally also when I started distilling oils like A to Z by myself. I used to have, in fact, as you'll remember, one out on the porch, one distillation pot there, one in even the living room. And I had this weird, like a funny setup with like this huge, in fact, you're the one who helped me with figuring out how to cool down the water for the condenser. Remember you shared this thing with the trickling, basically to cool down the water. So, you know, this is the time when I really started distilling stuff right at home, following your footsteps in that, and really upping the grade. And what I had found was that as I'm going up in the grade of the wood, this particular aspect of the oils, you know, the sesquiterpenes, basically, the concentration of those went up in the oil, and it was so much more therapeutic. Just, you know, really.
I see. So at the end of the day, you still heating up something and smelling it. So it's just like a matter of concentration. So obviously the chip will not do it for you, but distilled oil from this very chip will do 100 times stronger, and it will give you much more pleasure, right?
Well, and I have my handy burner right here with me, so it's not to say that I don't enjoy heating wood. I absolutely love heating raw agarwood chips as well. So for me, it's I enjoy both formats.
Okay, so it's about the therapeutic effect. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Thank you. That's a really good question. So coming back to our composition, I think many people are curious, so I wanted just to touch upon few very important things. Many people asking, requesting, requiring, and you know, very curious. So the composition itself have a story, and the story is quite straightforward, I would say. Yeah, it's quite straightforward, and those with who I shared it, they loved it. They loved the idea. So I think it's quite fascinating. So we all work around, and we all love agarwood, and we all love agarwood tree, I guess, the most. So the idea of this perfume is to capture the essence of imaginary Aquilaria tree blossom. Yes, so the name of the perfume is therefore Aquilaria blossom. And as you obviously know, Aquilaria have blossom, have flowers, but they barely have any smell, right?
That's right, yeah. It's a very, very weak, just waxy, generic sort of scent, and extremely weak.
Yeah, so we thought it would be very, very interesting to create the type of aroma that we could imagine, like if agarwood tree would have this large, almost lotus-like blossoms, how they would smell. So I guess we achieved the task, almost like when people can imagine neroli type of oil, neroli type of a smell that comes from orange tree. So orange tree, it has oranges, it has orange leaves, and it has this neroli blossoms. So this neroli blossom is actually one of my most favorite floral materials, because it captures all the character of the tree, fruit, leaves, and the amazing floral touch to it. So that's what I thought when I was working on our collaboration, that I want to present to people something that could have been the true essence of huge blossoms of agarwood tree. So what do you think?
The hypothetical blossom.
We achieved that well.
I think so. Yeah, it's very much it's a certainly a floral genre scent, but specifically, of course, Aquilaria. For those who don't know, Aquilaria stands for it's essentially the scientific name for oud or agarwood, and really the aroma is really, it's like if it had a scent, this would be it. If the oud blossom had a scent, this is essentially what we set out to achieve, and I think it's a job well done, really.
Yeah, and important to mention that, very interesting, but it's not a oud-centered perfume, right? That most people expect from us. And I wanted to
Right,
do
right, right,
something
right.
different. You know, me distiller, you are distiller. Obviously, what they're gonna do? Oh, they're gonna do oud perfume, another oud perfume. You have your own oud perfumes. I have my own oud perfumes. But I want to do something else, something different. As a brand, as an
Yes.
artist, I love to go into many different directions and sometimes do something, you know, unpredictable. So I think that was a very,
Yeah.
very, very interesting move where we created something closely related to agar wood, but not wood
Yeah.
focused.
Absolutely, yes, yes, yes. And I should clarify here that although there are, in fact, not just one but several ouds in here, how Adam mentioned, it's not a very oudi, in other words, the essential oil from the wood. It's not so much that as it is more a vision. It's like it's an abstract vision of something which is in reality non-existent. But if we can get the creative juices flowing, just to imagine what it could be like, it's really more about that.
Yeah, and to me, that's what perfumery is. It's about, you know, telling a vision, telling your own story, telling your own, you know, dream. It's not just, you know, presenting one thing or another, even though this is also can be quite beautiful. But here, I guess we've done, alhamdulillah, a good job. And what is important to mention as well is that if we're talking about the oud aspect of the perfume, it's more over your type of a style, right? It's more
Yes,
of
yes,
a true nature smell of agarwood, which again might be shocking to most people who are not, you know, familiar with high-grade agarwood. That true agarwood oil not smell like, you know, wood, not smell like stink, not smell like, you know, all these
It's more of
different
a
things
pretty
more associated with agarwood, but it's more floral, more green type of smell with countless different nuances. Not necessarily woody, not necessarily strong. It's very, very diverse. So I think this particular style is present in this perfume. You agree?
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And that this reminds me actually, I wanted to ask you about the Kinan distillations you've been doing.
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing story, and the fact that I
Because
shared
that has quite a lot of scent notes in there, which I think for a lot of people would be very unexpected. Or I should say, people who are not acquainted with pure oud oil, they would probably be very surprised by some of the scent notes in that oil, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what we also discussed previously while choosing the name for this perfume. But yeah, let me tell you first the story that happened. I've been distilling this Kinam. I think that was the second batch where I took the chips, the actual Kinam plantation chips, not yet sinking, but extremely, extremely high quality. And distillation been running. One of the friends here visited me, and then I invited him to see the oil, to see the distillation. And I uncapped the oil collector. We tested the oil together. And we were like, wow, yeah, that's very nice. That's kind of a floral, green, fresh type of smell, very unusual to a regular medium quality or even high quality, even wild agarwood. It's so amazingly, you know, uplifting and fresh, and just regular person would never associate this with oud as they know it, I guess. And then, or even actually before that, we also tested our perfume. I show it to him. And then when we smelled this oil, after our brain tried to, you know, I've been smelling it first time, he'd been smelling it first time. After our brain analyzed it and, you know, captured the scent, we were like looking at each other and thinking, wow, actually, this type of a scent, its style, its character, and overall signature is quite similar to the perfume Acolaria Blossom.
Exactly, yeah.
And we were like truly shocked and blown away.
Yeah, and this is the point that I was trying to get at as well. It's when you did this distillation and these very beautiful, and for many people unexpected, these lovely sweet floral type elements, you find these kind of notes in Kinan, and you find these notes in fact, I would say, the majority of truly high grade distillations as well. And then with this perfume, yes, you have like these delicate, ethereal, otherworldly sort of scent notes in the scent profile. And I think really the way that everything came together, it kind of gives the same sort of feel Like it has kind of the same sort of texture as that. What else do you have in the works? Like for example, for distillation.
Oh man, that's really a good question, and I have too many things to say, but I will try to, to cut it short. So I have new collection coming soon that I've been working on for many, many years, if I could say. This
Really?
inspired by Indian attars. Yeah, the beautiful 7 perfumes collection inspired by Indian attars. Each single perfume represent each different type of traditional Indian attars. So I truly felt like this is very, very, special type of perfumery, and we losing it. It's almost dying. And it's not much wearable. You have this attars like shamama, or majmua that are so traditional that people, I feel personally even fear to wear it because it's so intense, so spicy, and so I've been working with these attars and creating more type of modern perfumes out of those.
Right.
Yeah, then I have in fact quite a few perfumes already made because during the lockdown we've been just sitting doing nothing, not traveling, not going out much, and alhamdulillah I had chance to work on many different new compositions. And I love to say this, I mentioned this earlier, me as an artist love to go in many different ways, many different directions. So I will explore many different genres, many different, even when it comes to design and price points. I will, in fact, future coming Indian collection will have one perfume that is below $100. So it's true like a big breakthrough for me. It's not that I'm using something very much synthetic or what, but I want to go many different ways. I want to offer very affordable perfumes that still have natural distilled ingredients in them, and I want to also offer very luxurious, very hard to get, very in terms of materials perfumes. So there are many things to come. Very excited. Shall we finally share the presentation with our dear viewers of Acolere Blossom?
I think so. I think it's time to share what it looks like.
How do you like it personally?
That's right. Beautiful. I know it was quite a nightmare for you to actually get everything perfect, for everything to really work with the aroma as well. In other words, the packaging and everything, really it's very suitable for what's inside the bottle.
It reflects and represents the idea itself. And what I want to point out is a very interesting, and again, maybe revolutionary, maybe not, but very unique to me personally, is our cap. Our cap is made by 3D printing out of resin. So it's something that people might be not very familiar with, but I hope they will appreciate and they will, study it more closely and they will love it. And obviously it is a part of a composition again, it's a part of a design, but the idea itself to 3D print perfume cap is something that I personally loved, and we end up even, paying more than regular, metal cap or any type of cap, but I think it was totally worth it.
Totally worth it, yeah. Very beautiful. Really, the final product, I think it's as beautiful as what's inside. So I think it's a very worthy house for what's inside.
Yeah, so it's time to say bye. Very sorry.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well, it was, as usual, very nice seeing you. And hopefully this is the first of more collaborations yet to come.
Yeah, let's see how people will respond to this composition, and I'm truly looking forward, everybody, to try it. And maybe a few small things I want to mention. Perfume will come as usual in 30 ml and 10 ml because we wish to give a chance for more people to discover it. Those who want more affordable option can go with 10 ml. Those who want a full bottle can purchase 30 ml extract de parfum. Yeah, we wish as many people as possible to experience our perfume composition. So for this reason we do this limits and so on. So yes, thank you guys for watching. It was a very wonderful time to sit here with my beautiful friend, and I hope I can actually visit you
Likewise.
very, very soon.
I hope so too. Yeah. In fact, I was supposed to fly over. Just got a little bit swamped with lots of work. Yeah. But hopefully, yeah, very soon.
Okay then, see you next time, and everybody take care. Bye.